Hello guys, welcome to this quick introduction to Jet Analytics session. My name is Bhupendra Patel and I work for TNP in the Data Analytics department. Today's session we are going to have a few slides and a walkthrough on Jet Analytics. So let's get to the presentation and see what it is about.
So lovely people, let's get started. So the agenda for today is to see what Jet Analytics is about. Then we go into a little bit theory about the cubes and dimensions because it is all related to Jet Analytics. And then we have the walkthrough part, which is the fun part. So let's get started. What is Jet Analytics about? Jet Analytics is basically a data warehouse automation platform. Now I say platform because it's a combination of various things it can do. It's not just a tool or a development environment. It does various things. It is one place where you can do your development, you can do your administration, and it's a wonderful tool. Believe me, I come from an environment where we started doing development in Visual Studio. And to do things, you have to do development, you have to do in Visual Studio, do administration, you have to go to SQL Server. It works, and you don't see any fault with it until you see Jet Analytics. Because this wonderful environment gives you a single point where all your business analysts, all your developers, all your administrators can go in and have one place, and everybody talks in one language. Although to start with, you might find things are misplaced, but that is because you come from a different environment. So enough of the sales pitch. Let's start talking about what is this Jet Analytics. So Jet Analytics actually helps you to jumpstart your analytics journey. Now, why do I say it jumpstarts your journey? Because it comes with pre-built cubes, and it has lots of inbuilt functions which will help you to or help you to speed up your development. Now, whenever we start a data analytics journey, say if you weren't using Jet Analytics or you are using the plain Microsoft Visual Studio and SQL Server, you would have one person sitting in the corner and building all the cubes and all the basic structures. Now, forget investing all time in that. With Jet Analytics, I will show you when we go to the walkthrough. You have pre-built cubes, and it's not just for one thing. It is mostly for your Microsoft Dynamics world. You have it starting from nav 2009 or 2002. I'm not too sure, but let's see when we go there. To Business Central. So it's just one place, and what they have done is recently they have added in support for tabular cubes. So you can do your multidimensional and tabular cubes just from one environment. How cool is that? And it's not just about your Dynamics environment. It can connect to any SQL source, or for the matter of fact, Excel spreadsheets. So, and as you can see on the screen, I've mentioned your security and scheduling can be managed on the same interface. This is what I love about it. I don't have to go to SQL Server and say, okay, schedule my data pull, schedule my transformation. None of that. Everything is just there. And how easy it is, we are just going to see, I think, towards the end of the presentation. So before we go into Jet Analytics, because Jet Analytics is a data warehouse automation tool, I said, now what is data warehouse? Data warehouse means collecting all the data which you are going to report on and building a cube out of it. So what is a cube? Cube is basically a collection of dimensions and measures. As you can see from here, this is a pictorial representation of the cube. Is a pictorial representation, not a physical representation. So the cube is not stored like that. This is just a logical representation so that we can understand what cube is and how it stores the data. So the cube, like I said, comprises of dimensions and measures. So what are the dimensions I speak of? Dimensions are nothing but the things which you are trying to measure. So see from here, where source is a dimension. So where is the sales happening? Then time is a dimension. When did the sales happen is another dimension. And how did the transport of things happen? That's another dimension. So the dimension are the things which you are trying to measure. And what is a measure? Measure is nothing but all the numeric quantities, mostly numeric quantities, which you have in your analysis, like your sales, the last 10 days sales or last month's sale, how many customers, the top 5, no, top 5 wouldn't be, but top 5 is a measure which we can create. But all these type of numerical quantities which come in the cube are all your measures. As you can see, as you can see, the measure or the values is usually an intersection between the dimension and the measure. So you would say, why are you talking about intersection? So it is an intersection because the cube actually stores the data in an aggregated form. It's all pre-aggregated. So when you are trying to query something, it can quickly retrieve something and show it to you. Because if you are doing it in a traditional SQL form, you would write SQL queries and then you would have to create joins. And these joins, they are not, you have to get SQL to do some job so that it can bring the data back to you. None of that in the cubes. In the cubes, because we have dimensions and measures and we have set a relationship between these two, the cube will store all this data for us. So as soon as you request for something, it can immediately get this data back for you. And cube will store years and years worth of data. So that is why it has to have all this pre-aggregated stuff stored in it. Also, sometimes in nav, what we have is some of the tables they will have transient information. Now, what do I mean by transient information? Is it will have only data for that period, whenever something is active. As soon as invoice gets paid or something, if the record is deleted and you try to query that data after 5 years or something, you will not have it. So this is where the cube comes in, and what you can do is with the cube, which we are going to see, is you can have an incremental load. And what an incremental load does is it saves the data every time you run this update. It stores the data and keeps it, and then that helps us to bring out the trends in the cubes. So if we have a look at what is the basic data flow process, then this is what and the data flow process looks like. And this image we've got from the Jet Global's site, which is the producer of the who are the producer of Jet Analytics. So as you can see from here, it does not get source the Jet Analytics source, the cube source, or rather the cube source is not just one database. It can be many databases. Your on-prem ERP database, although it says on-prem, even if it is Business Central, I think we can do it. Is your CRM database, your legacy database, for the matter of the fact. Your legacy database could be, say, your old implementation of nav, or say even if it was not nav, it was something else, we can still get it and shape the data in the Jet Data Manager, so that going forward we can get all our analytics in there. So Jet Analytics preserves your previous investment, even if it was not the modern implementation of Dynamics, or even if it was not a Dynamics implementation. So all your previous investments are safe with Jet Analytics. And yes, I forgot to mention, Jet Analytics produces cubes which are based on the Microsoft technology. So your investment in Microsoft technology of Dynamics Nav and everything else is preserved, because it is based on SQL Server. So Dynamics is based on SQL Server, and Jet Analytics is based on SQL Server. So again, another win immediately for you. Your SQL Server investment is preserved. So where were we? Yeah. So it connects through various sources, SQL and Excel. It also connects to Salesforce. So your CRM database, if it's not Microsoft, if it is Salesforce, you still have the ability to connect using the Jet Analytics. So what happens is you connect through various sources, and then you select all the tables which you want to bring in, and select the fields which you want to bring in. Again, note what I am saying is select. And when I say select, you're not writing all those long SQL queries and writing the joins. When we go to the walkthrough, I will show you how easy it is to produce the how easy it is to select, because it is a matter of click, select, and off you go. Your data is selected, and then we can shape it easily. But more of it later. So once all the data is selected, that all the data is then stored in the staging database. Now, what is a staging database? Staging database is something where you shape your data, you clear your data, because most of the times what will happen is your data is not in the format in which you can, not in a consistent format. So what you do is you shape your data, you clear your data, you clean your data in the staging database, and then you push that data to your data warehouse. This is what becomes the source of your cubes.